Thank you for tuning into this debate. It was pre-recorded on Friday, March 13th. Tell Brown a little bit about yourself and why you are running.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Kaplan and I'm a current sophomore from Ambler, Pennsylvania. I want to run for UCS Vice President because I think that Brown is an awesome community of changemakers and people who have a lot of great ideas. And I think that oftentimes people just need the access to the resources to make those ideas happen. In talking to students on campus, I found that a lot of students have these awesome ideas and awesome initiatives and don't have the ways to actually accomplish those things, whether that be getting the funding needed or getting the access to administration that they need. I hope to use the platform of Vice President to elevate those student voices and get students the connections and the contact that they need to actually accomplish their ideas. So I kind of have three main initiative areas that I want to address. There's accessibility, accountability, and sustainability. So first, for accessibility, I want to make sure that both the Brown education and resources are accessible to all students on campus. So one initiative that I have is making sure that all classes are lecture capture accessible. And for organizations, I hope to expand our new initiatives fund so every club, regardless of categorization, can get more money. For accountability, I want to make sure that we're holding Brown to as high of a standard as possible in terms of its position as a global leader and also a community leader. This means making sure that we're engaging with Providence in the most sustainable, most beneficial way possible, and making sure that our administration is setting a good example for all of the ways that we influence our community both here and globally. And then finally, I want to focus on sustainability. So that means making sure that we're doing what we can as a community to help address the growing threat of climate change. That means decreasing our plastic use, making sure that Brown continues its commitment to divest from fossil fuels, and also making sure we're transparent with the ways that we're already engaging with sustainability in our broader community.
Hi Brown, my name is Summer. I'm a sophomore and I'm the current treasurer of UCS. I've been on UCS for 2 years now. I joined in my first year serving on the campus life committee, and I've helped facilitated the free airport shuttles project, and also working as the treasurer this year. I've had the privilege of working with student leaders of different clubs and organizations. I've worked on the new initiatives fund, which helps different groups with their initiatives and projects that help reach the Brown community. And it's been a really rewarding experience so far, because aside from working on the projects that I'm really supportive of, I also get to help other other committee chairs with their own projects, and I've seen firsthand the places where Brown can make improvements on, and I'm really passionate about working with you to help make Brown more accessible for everyone.
What would be your top 3 priorities?
Yeah, so my top 3 priorities would be to increase the accessibility of resources for students, to improve student experience, and finally holding the administration accountable for increasing student representation in the university's decision making. So in terms of increasing the accessibility of resources, I'm hoping to reach out to student leaders and be more proactive when it comes to addressing student concerns, and then connecting the students with the administration, proactively setting up meetings for the student leaders and student groups to talk to the admin, facilitating conversations, as well as introducing students to more resources on campus. And in terms of better the student experience, I'm sure we are all aware that a lot of the student dorms on campus are not equipped with water fountains or even sanitizer dispensers, and I think that's crucial, not only in terms of student health, but also just making sure that every student, their experience at Brown their concerns at Brown are being addressed. So definitely checking in with facilities, and also reaching out to other departments at Brown to make sure that every aspect of the student life is being overseen and being addressed. Finally, holding the university accountable for the decision-making process. I'm hoping to appoint more students on the university committees, and making sure that all the students who are being appointed come to UCS General Body meeting to check in with everyone, and to also update us on the progress that they've made.
So priority number 1 is to make sure that the Disability Justice Cultural Center happens. This has been something that DJAB has been working on for a really, really long time, and something that I believe is very important, and I think that in a year time frame that is more than enough for us to make sure that UCS elevates those students' voices and make sure that that initiative is accomplished. Secondly, something that I hope to do is expand the New Initiatives Fund. So UCS has a New Initiatives Fund that for Category 1 and 2 organizations who don't get beyond their baseline funding from UFB, they can apply to this fund and get money for their club so they can host events even though they don't necessarily get a super big amount of UFB funding. I hope to expand this fund so any club who wants to apply can get the funding they need for whatever projects they want, regardless of whether they have the UFB categorization for it. And third, I really want to work on sustainability. Something that I think we could do in a year span is eliminate all single-use plastic utensils from our dining halls and replace them with compostable utensils. I think that's a really easy shift we could make and something that could definitely be implemented in the span of a year.
How will you apply your prior experiences towards this role?
So this past year, I was appointments chair of UCS, which means that I, along with my co-chair, helped appoint undergraduate students to all the different policy-making committees that we have on campus. We appointed students to the Dining Council, to the University Resource Council, which decides the university's budget, the Curriculum Council, a whole bunch of committees that basically decide Brown's course for the next year and years to come. And so in this experience, I really worked on elevating student voice and making sure that students were listened to by administration. In the past, students on committees had felt that sometimes their voices were not listened to by administration. And during my time as appointments chair, I really worked to make sure that student voice was heard. With this experience in interacting with administration in this way, I'm confident that I can do the same as vice president in making sure that all student voices are heard and elevated to the place that they need to be.
So as the treasurer, I've had experiences reaching out proactively to student leaders of different clubs and organizations, and I think as the vice president, I would really prioritize communicating with student groups on campus and helping to address the concerns that they have by talking to them and communicating with the administration. Getting to know their concerns is my priority because I believe that the student groups experience are really crucial to making Brown more accessible, and I think there are a lot of resources that UCS has that have not been discovered by students on campus, so definitely talking to more students and proactively reaching out to them would be my priority.
What are some measures you'd like to work with the university to help support students during and after the current public health crisis surrounding coronavirus?
I think there are three university departments that I would really like to work with. The first one would be the CAPS, so counseling and psychological offices. I believe that this is a particularly difficult time for all of us, and a lot of students are really, me included, are really stressed about this situation. So I think having CAPS available online where students could seek support from the counselors would be really helpful, and also talking to the academic teams, making sure that class materials are uploaded on campus so the student education are not undermined because of the virus. And finally, I think I like to work with the undergraduate finance board to make sure that every student has the financial ability to go home, or at least to seek accommodations during this particularly difficult time.
So I think that the main thing that we need, and I think something that we've seen kind of recently that students would like to see more from the university is transparency. I think that the university, it has to make whatever decisions it feels is right for the whole community, but what it can do to make sure that students are getting the support they need is outlining completely why they're making these decisions, and be a little bit more empathetic to the student body. This is a really hard time for everyone, and it takes a lot of processing, and depending on what your situation is as a student, like this could mean a lot of different things, and the university, I think, needs to be incredibly proactive and transparent with the information that they have, so students have as much time to process the information and kind of adjust their lives accordingly to make sure that everybody is healthy and as safe as possible.
How do you plan to represent the voice of the larger student community?
So a lot of my time on UCS has been spent trying to elevate voices of the student community and making sure that student voices are heard. So for example, as appointments chair, one of our huge initiatives was creating a dining council. So in reaction to all the meal plan changes last year, UCS felt that there needed to be a stronger channel for student voice in making decisions like that. And as appointments chair, we were able to accomplish a way for students to have greater voice. And I think that as vice president, I'd like to continue that kind of that kind of strategy where we look at things that the university isn't doing great or we as students feel like they could be doing better, and making sure that we address those things head on. So another issue that I know that has come up recently on campus is the way that community engagement groups interact with the university. And something that I'd like to do as vice president is make sure that we have a community engagement council that directs interacts directly with administration, so the administration is hearing from students directly exactly what we feel the university needs in terms of community engagement.
So I think one of the most efficient way is to continue doing the fall poll, and also sending out surveys and having avenues where students could submit feedback. I do acknowledge that I'm only one person, and I can't wait to be more proactive when it comes to reaching out to student groups and listening to their feedbacks and concerns. I'm really passionate about making this campus more accessible for everyone, so I want to hear the voices, I want to hear different voices, and I want to make sure that every student's identity and their cultural background or their ideas are valued and are celebrated, and differences are and I want to create a community where differences are celebrated.
How can Brown improve the campus experience for students who hold historically marginalized identities?
So I think UCS could partner with different student centers. For example, Brown Center of Students of Color, the Sarah Doyle Women's Center, and also a lot of other student centers on campus, and help establish, for example, Disability Justice Cultural Center for students who have marginalized identities. I think UCS should take on the responsibility to help initiate these progress. I believe that the burden should not fall on the students themselves, because it's hard enough for them to not have their voice being heard. And I think we should foster a community where different identities and different voices are celebrated and heard and welcomed.
So I think that something that Brown can do is to center those identities and make sure that people who hold these identities are being given all the opportunities that they want in order to interact with the university in whichever way they feel most comfortable to them. And so I think something that we can do as UCS in order to support their goals is make sure that we're listening to these communities and making sure that the steps we take are representative of the things they want, and also making sure that they have the access to administration that they need in order to accomplish their goals and whatever they want to do that will make them feel like this campus is theirs. And something that I hope to do as UCS Vice President to this end is inviting members of different student groups and particularly identity groups to our meetings with administration, so they can speak for themselves as well on their experiences and how Brown can help improve those experiences for them.
If there's something you could say to the Brown community right now, what would it be?
I want to help elevate the voices of each and every one of you. The only reason that I am running for UCS Vice President is because I want to make sure that student government is a place where every single student voice feels heard, regardless of what part of our community you're a part of. You are a part of this greater university community. And I feel that in this role, I can help address all the concerns of the student body at large, and I hope that I'd be able to help your concerns as well. I think a huge part of student government, and also a huge part of being at Brown, is the ability to build these awesome communities that can do amazing things. But the only way we can do that is if we unite together and address goals in a streamlined way, and I see UCS as a perfect way to do that. And I really hope that I can have your trust in accomplishing all these amazing things that we as students want to get done.
I definitely say that this is such a hard time for all of us. I believe that none of us have thought that our semester would end so suddenly, and I feel really grateful for all the support that I've got from each and every one of you, and I hope that you know that UCS and me personally, I'm here to support you, and I know that this is so difficult and could be really stressful for you, but just know that we're a community and we're all here together.
Closing statement.
I want all of you to walk away knowing that I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to serve you in the past 2 years, and I'm really excited to forward all the wonderful initiatives that you have and all the different thoughts that you've brought to the Brown community. I'm really passionate about making Brown more accessible for everyone, and I want you to walk away knowing that whether or not we will come back in the next few weeks or the next few months, we're still a community and we are going to get through this together, and know that UCS is always here to support both in person and virtually, and know that this is a safe space for all of you to voice your concerns, and this is a place where your concerns will be addressed and forwarded to the school administration.
Thank you so much for watching this entire video. I'm sure that you had a bunch of other things to be doing on while you're, not at school or online learning or wherever this video is going to be released. But I really, really appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to my ideas, and I really hope that as vice president, I will be able to promote student voices and make sure that every single idea that we as a student body have is heard by the administration, and that we hold Brown to the standard that we see fit for this university. I think we need to do a better job as a university of listening to and working with the greater Providence community and making sure that we are being the leader that we are supposed to be in the greater global community. A lot of this has to do with sustainability. It has to do with holding the university accountable for the decisions it makes. And I think it also has to do with making sure that all the organizations that are doing amazing work on campus are being able to accomplish that work through talking to administration and through working with UCS to get those initiatives done. Thank you so much, and I hope to have your vote in when the election poll comes out.
We would like to acknowledge that this election and debate were held on the land of the Pokanoket, Narragansett, and Wampanoag people.